Today on the show, we've got Dom Levy. He is the bass player for the band Fat Mezz, very popular here in the South Jersey area. They are both a mix of covers, tunes, and original music. We talk all about the Fat Mezz experience and what it's like to record music with them and all that stuff. But Dom recently put out his own solo album called Lazy River. It's available on all platforms. So we did dive into that as well. Great music. Highly recommend you guys give it a listen. Again, it's called Lazy River and it's available everywhere. Fat Mezz has also been chosen as the local Shots 93.3 WMMR's local Shots artist that is going to be opening the main stage at the 2025 WMM Barbecue down in Camden. And that is coming up this weekend, May 10th. So if you don't have tickets for it, go to WMMR.com or just search MM Barbecue at any, Ticketmaster or Live Nation, whatever. And I'm sure you'll be able to get tickets still. But yeah, very excited for them. And yeah, this was a great episode. Dom is very much like a stream of consciousness kind of guy, says pretty much anything that enters his brain, which is awesome. I love it. It's very rapid fire conversation. So, if you blink, you might miss something. So super fun. He's a great guy. The two songs he plays at the end are awesome, awesome, awesome. One of them is not released, so it's kind of an exclusive here. So you'll get to hear it first. Both songs are fantastic. So thank you very much, Dom, for doing this episode. And here is my conversation with Dom Levy. All right, so we're here with Dom. Is it Levy or Levy?
Levy.
Levy, Dom Levy. And you are, I believe you are the bass player for Fat Mezz?
Yeah, bass. I sing.
Okay.
I do that. I jump around. All the above.
Nice, nice. And then you recently released your own music.
Yes.
Right? What's the name of that album?
Lazy River.
Lazy River.
Yeah,
nice.
I've been working on it for a long time. It's about 2 years I spent in the studio from late 2022 to, when I put it out about a month and a half ago. And it was a long time. Drove me crazy. But
yeah,
a good kind of crazy. And now I don't listen to it at all once it's out.
Oh,
I think I listened to it once. I got really stoned after a gig. And I was driving with Bill, and he put it on. And I'm like, put one of the songs on. And I go, just put the whole thing on. I got to listen to it at least once, make sure it's all right.
Yeah, right. You didn't do like the car test or anything after the album was recorded?
I did like one kind of, but it was like, so fuzzy then because we listened to it down in the studio, and I woke up, and I'm just like, let me do one more. And then I said, let's just get it up there. I'm going crazy.
Yeah, right, yep.
I thought I wanted to redo the whole thing by the time. I'm just like, we got to do it. It's all out of tune. I got to do it again.
Who'd you record it with?
I recorded with my buddy Tony Mascara Jr.
Oh, okay. All right,
He's an awesome musician. I met him through
Audio Lab, I think.
Audio Lab.
Yeah.
It's in his house. It's a basement. It's a great studio, great vibe. And I met him through Bill. He was the drummer for Billy the Kid Band.
Okay.
He's one of the best drummers. He plays a bunch of instruments, but I've saw him as a drummer, and it's
nice.
He just can play. He's just and he's screaming like yeah, and I just love that kind of energy. So
yeah.
He always had the studio, and once I got around to it and I had the material ready, we just started recording, and it was kind of loose, and then it started turning into something.
Okay.
And we work really well together.
Awesome.
He's like, he knows how to do the computer stuff. I don't.
Yeah. I reached out to him to see if he wanted to be on the podcast. I'm still waiting for him to confirm, but
he's one of the busiest people I
know. Yeah. I mean, I think because I had TJ Fry on, he was like episode 2 of the podcast, and I think TJ worked with him, and a few others. I can't remember who, but I know Anthony West is working with him currently, I think. So anyway, he's a pretty popular dude.
He brings a good energy, and people just love that. You know what I mean? You can make great music, and you can feel comfortable.
Right.
You want to be able, when you're singing, to be like, all right, I'm feeling good. I don't want to be like, this guy's judging me, because he just loves music, and I love music.
That's
so
awesome. That's
works
awesome.
Good together.
Yeah, man, that's cool. How has I mean, this might be a silly question, but how do you think the album has been received? Are you getting some decent streams out of it?
It got around, I think right now it's around like 6,000 or 7,000, which is better than I thought it would.
Yeah, that's amazing.
it didn't do as well as the Fat Mezz stuff, but it's a different thing.
Sure,
That's a more established thing that we've been doing, and we're more consistent with singles.
Yep.
But the reaction from people have been really kind. I've had a lot of messages. A lot of people reach out to me, and they were just like, "I really enjoy what you did," and I really didn't like it by the end of it because I was so in my head about it.
Well, yeah, you've heard those songs over and over and over again, right?
I mean, we remixed them. By the end of it, I mean, we were running it. We recorded digitally and then kept running it through tape, and then it would change the levels, so we had to remix it. I mean, most of the songs we already mixed them about 10 or 15 times. Then when we put it to tape, another 6 or 7 times each. So I mean, we're sitting there listening to the same song for about 4 hours straight.
Wow.
And I'm going, gotta turn the bass down this part. The treble's cutting through, or like the tape slipped, and now you're, so you gotta fix it. I mean, it was very,
So I don't have a whole lot of experience in a studio, basically none. So why would you like mix it and then record it to tape?
Just it melds a bit of the tracks together because recording to tape has a really good sound and it's really warm. But for how I overdub stuff and how I record, especially with my own music, is a lot of overdubs. If there's one electric guitar, I put about 15 playing very minimal stuff, and it's like a wall of sound kind of thing, like a Phil Spector, Brian Wilson thing.
Yep.
But it's like I want to fill every frequency, and that was the whole first album. I mean, it was very inspired by Pet Sounds, Sgt. Pepper's, Smile, Odyssey and Oracle, just that really big wall of sound.
Yeah.
And it's running the tape by the end melds that together, so it doesn't just sound like a big bunch of shit. Like
right. That's cool.
But I dug in. For some tracks it works, some tracks it doesn't. We do the same thing in Memphis when we go down with Fat Mezz, and that's cool too. Depending on some of the tracks we've released, we're like, digital sounds better or tape sounds better. It's it's a preference.
Where in Memphis do you go? Sun Studio?
No, we don't go there. We go to Memphis Magnetic. It's a very, I think it's based it's modeled after an RCA studio. So it's a huge room and it's got a great drum sound. That's what we really dig about it, because our music has the rock. It's more rock.
Yeah.
So we can get a really good drum sound and really work towards it, and we'll put mics in the 35 feet away in the corner of the room. And you can get this boomy sound and mix it, and it's cool to be there because with it's completely opposite from how I record. I record really thoroughly, and I like to just be like, I'm gonna sit here and I'll work on this one section, or I'll redo a whole song if I don't think it's good weeks in. But with that, it's like we have 3 weeks to get 11 songs done. We're gonna work every day, 10-hour, 12-hour days. We get one day off in the middle, and that's when you just go out and party in the town, and it was fun.
Nice.
We went to a quick story about that. On our last day off, we said, all right, we're going to go out. We did 3 days. We had 1 day off, and I think we had 2 more days to finish mixing and mastering.
Yep.
And we went to the Bass Pro Shops. They have the biggest
big pyramid one. Yeah.
So we get in there, and we just planned on just going there, maybe getting some food, and we're seeing stuff. And Corey knows all the sea creatures, and Zach, Rhodey, he knows all the sea creatures. So they're saying all this stuff because they got like these huge sturgeon in there.
Yeah.
And then we're going up the biggest freight elevator. What is it? Freight? Yeah, I think it's.
I'm not sure. Freight.
Yeah, freight. It scared the shit out of me and Zach. We're sitting there like holding the walls and all. It was insane. So we finally get up there, and there's a bar up there. So we go, wow. We got to calm down. Let's get a couple drinks, and we haven't eaten yet. And it was about noon.
Yeah.
And we have a couple, and then we go out to the deck, and someone's like, "Can we take your pictures?" We're like, "Sure, we'll do it." Because it's like someone trying to make some money.
Yeah,
so we do that. They come back. Do you want the pictures? We'll take them all. Sure, we'll put them on. It's like $40. We did that, and then we kept going around. We went bowling, kept drinking more.
Okay.
It ended up just like Corey threw a bowling ball, fell down the lane. It was insane. He almost knocked the table over. We were spilling. And my favorite part of it is he was drinking his beer, and he was drinking it more than faster than me, and I was already pretty far out.
Yeah.
So then he goes to the bathroom. I pour mine there. He comes back, goes, "You poured this in my beer," and tries to pour it back in mine right on my lap. And I'm like, yo.
Nice.
So yeah, we ended up getting back home. We were gone, and ended up putting a hole through the window at the Airbnb.
Oh my God.
Corey, we shut the door on Corey, put his hand straight through it because he didn't think. And then we're sitting there. Kurt comes downstairs, and he was probably barely stoned. He doesn't drink at all.
Right.
And he's just like, "What happened? What's going on?" Corey goes, "The door just like exploded." And it was just, it was times like that. It was
That's
fun.
great.
But, but that happens when you're in the studio.
Sure.
Memphis was great. Sorry to go on a tangent.
No, it's totally fine.
One of my favorite modern stories.
Yeah, I was driving across country from Philly to Arizona, and because at one point I lived in Arizona for a few years, and I stayed over in like, is it East or West Memphis, right? So like not downtown, but I drove past that Bass Pro Shop. Never been inside, but
it's huge.
That's why I knew what you're talking about.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a burger place in there. They got bowling out,
really,
and a Bass Pro Shop. So
that's nuts.
You think there's just like they got some baseball bats, they got some like fishing stuff. There's 3 bars. There's 3 bars in there.
Crazy.
It was insane, and they give you these pictures, and it's insane. You're
That's
just
nuts.
We walked out of there, and we're just like, we did not expect this.
Yeah,
and I don't remember the way home because I passed out.
What's downtown Memphis like? I mean, I've been to Nashville several times.
Yeah.
I assume Nashville's just bigger, but is there like a downtown in Memphis?
There is. We didn't get much time to go there because on the days off, besides like the ones we went out a little bit, it's mostly just like recovering because we're doing 12 hours straight in the studio.
Right,
so it's marathon sessions where it's like when you're off, it's like I don't want to talk to anybody. I've been around you guys too much. Like we're gonna sit in our rooms and maybe we'll get dinner or something.
Okay.
But there's a good downtown. I want to go down there and see some music when we're there. But we were usually off on like a Tuesday, so like, on the weekends.
Not much going on.
Yeah, so there wasn't much, but it's cool. The food's great. I love it.
Okay.
They had we went out to Mississippi. That was another thing we did out there.
Yeah.
And that was crazy.
Because Memphis is right on the border, right? Yeah.
What's cool is Kurt was buying a guitar. He had his dream Les Paul, and we look at it's in Clarksdale, Mississippi, home of the blues.
Yeah,
Robert Johnson sold the soul.
There you go.
And it was crazy that his dream guitar was down there. And we went, and I think the place is called Gus's.
Okay.
And it was, that's what it's called. Some of the best food you'll ever have. That's what I love. I love barbecue.
That's awesome.
And you get down there and you're eating this stuff and you just go, I don't want to go. I want to stay here forever. Like it was just beautiful,
Yeah, right.
Food and music, that's what it's about. But I want to explore it more. It's cool. I like the vibe there a bit more than Nashville.
Yeah.
It's a bit more relaxed and everybody's, Nashville's more touristy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've noticed if you walk down the street, you hear the same song being played.
Pretty much.
You hear Chicken Fried, you hear the bridge over here, you hear the chorus when you're over here, and you hear the verse while you're driving out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get back to kind of your solo stuff, and then I want to dig in a little bit to the Fat Mezz stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So is this your first solo album?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been in the works since I was about 19 years old, and I just turned 26, and I never got around to doing it, and it finally got to a point where I was like, I feel good about my voice, because that's a big thing where I'm just like, I want to make sure my voice is in good health for it.
Okay.
I spent a year alone just on the vocal tracks on that album.
Really?
I mean, one song took, and Hannah was there for it, about 110 different takes I did, and it was hours just going through a couple words. I'm real particular. I love good vocals. But I'm gonna do a lot more, but I wish I did it when I was a little younger.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy to have anything out at this point.
That's great though.
But I just started my second one last week.
Oh, you did? Okay, awesome. What's any projection? I mean, is that going to take another 6 or 7 years to come out?
I think about 25 years. Once I retire, to come out. I'm thinking this one, because the first one took about 2 years, 2 months. This will probably be about a year and a half. I'm trying to get it out by next fall. But if anyone, from anyone who's following me for this one, I delayed the last album 7 times.
Did you really?
It's supposed to come out 4 months after I started, and then people are coming up to me. They go, "Is it going to come out? Like, is this a long joke?" And I thought that'd be a great joke if I just never put anything out, or I put a 2-second song out.
Yeah. Well, that could be the name of the next album, A Long Joke.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't even know it. I might just name it album number 2. Just
right.
People. Dom Levy album number 2.
There you go. That's awesome. Okay, so then when you're recording that album, the one that you just released, did you play all the instruments on it?
Most of them, not all of them. First, I played a couple guitar solos, like on Then Again, Thought of You Again. But for certain songs, I would go, oh, Bill would sound good on this, or Dion would sound good. I don't play drums at all. I'm the world's worst drummer on earth. I've been trying. I can't do it.
I can't do it either. Yeah, I can't even do that.
Yeah, that's about it. And everybody in the world's better than me. So I have some great drummers on the record. I got Corey Choate from the band. Tony Mascara plays drums on it.
Oh, nice.
Dion Pacey plays drums on one song.
I know Dion.
Yeah, he's great. He plays on the song I Feel So Close to You. He plays drums and lead guitar. And his guitar take is take 1.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, he did it, and he didn't like it, but and I was just like, it's great. He did a bunch of other ones, and it just had such good feel.
Right.
And I love that when you get a good take 1, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Even if there's a little bit of mess up in it, if the energy's there,
it gives it some soul, right?
It does. It's like you hear a little bit of like a fingers noise, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Beatles record. I mean, you hear that all over the Beatles record.
Yep. No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I had the band. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but the band Loose Ends in here, and the guitar player in that band, his name's Aiden. I forget his last name now, but Dion was Aiden's guitar teacher. And then I host an open mic at Little East Tavern in Franklinville every other Sunday, and Aiden used to work there, so he's always there. And then one time he had Dion come, and first time I met Dion, and his playing is just off the chain.
Him solo acoustic. There's not many people who can take it. Like I've seen him do Sultan to Swing solo, and he's doing the leads and the rhythm. And it's just, and he's like talking, and he's somehow drinking a beer. He's one of the most talented people.
Crazy.
You can never take that away from him, because it's like it's amazing. And he started singing later in his career, and his voice is great too. I've always enjoyed his voice.
Yeah,
I enjoy everything that he does musically. It's great.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Okay, so let's see. Any plans on doing like solo gigs at all to try to support this album?
Maybe. I mean, it's not really on my mind much. You know, Fat Mezz is my main group right now.
Sure.
And when I'm not on stage, I'm mostly recovering from the gigs and getting my voice back.
Yep.
And to recreate the music on Lazy River would be nearly impossible with like a 4 or 5 piece band. I would need at least 11 people on stage.
Oh, okay.
Because there's multiple guitar parts, there's piano, there's Wurlitzer, there's bass, a lot of vocals. So it's like, if I was ever able to do it, maybe 1 or 2 shows. But it's, you know, for me, it's like if you want to hear what the music is, listen to the record.
Yeah.
Because it's like Sgt. Pepper. You can recreate it, but there's nothing quite like the record.
Right, I got you.
And it's hard with the backwards guitar solos and all. It's like, you know, if we tried to, I think, you know, the electrical circuit might blow up if we tried to do a show with that material.
Yep.
We do a couple live with Fat Mezz, but that's
okay. Yeah. Well, how about so it sounds like I want to get to your influences, right? You already mentioned you know, the Beach Boys and Beatles and things like that. So is that kind of where your influences are?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with the Beatles. That was that from even before I was, you know, realizing I love music. I've always loved the Beatles. I mean, that was, you know, both my parents loved the Beatles, and it was just, you know, it was in me, you know, and I sang along to all the songs growing up, and then I was doing stand-up comedy for 6 or 7 months. My dad did it, and I was opening up down in AC, and you know, it just came to a point where I sucked at it, and we saw McCartney live, me and my dad, in DC, and it really just changed my whole direction.
Really? How old were you when you saw him?
Maybe 14.
Okay.
14, 15. It was probably late 14. But I tried to play guitar, and I couldn't fret down. My dad was a bass player.
Okay.
So he showed me how to play Get Back and a couple easy ones, like some Sabbath songs, or Black Sabbath. And it was, you know, it just got me into it, and I just got infatuated. I get really infatuated with things.
Okay.
And music was the thing. It used to be the solar system. It used to be storms. It used to be, you know, this, that.
Yeah, sure.
Cars. You know?
Yeah.
And then it was music, and it, you know, everything wore off, but music's the only thing that's never worn off. You know? One day I'd wake up, and I just wouldn't be into it. So I'm afraid I'm going to wake up, and then just
I'm done with this music.
I don't want to do this. You know, I want to get back into storms or something. Which one day I'll be a storm chaser.
There you go.
I love tornadoes.
Do you?
They're crazy. I mean, you know, you look at it, it's a marvel. It's like, what is this? You know, a cone coming out. I mean, I don't like the destruction part, you know.
Sure.
But like, you know, if it's in a field and maybe gets a half a cow, it's all right, you know.
So I assume you love the movie Twister then.
My favorite movie. I saw
is.
Twister 2. We got the whole band together to see Twister 2 because like I've loved it. And you know, the second one was going to be worse, of course. And the first one is terrible. But I love that.
I don't know. I loved it when it came out. I mean, maybe it didn't age well, but when it came out, I was like, this movie's incredible.
But it's like, you know, you see some parts where it doesn't make sense, where like they're holding on to a little metal thing while an EF5 tornado goes over, and you go, your skin would be ripped off. You'd be a skeleton. You wouldn't be holding on. You'd be over, if you're in Oklahoma, you'd be in Nebraska.
Yeah, right.
But it's, you know, I always loved it because it was like a really cool, you know, visual. And then we saw Twister 2, took a bunch of edibles, went in there, and everybody hated it but me. They said that was the worst thing I've ever seen, and I said, that's like my childhood. I love it. You know, it was funny. There was a guy there. The guy who was working there was like the popcorn guy. It was a small little theater in Cape May.
Okay.
And the girl who's supposed to be making the popcorn was just texting some like 16-year-old girl. She wasn't, you know, doing it. He turns around, he goes, where's the popcorn? And he's freaking out. And then he goes, if you want some popcorn, tell me if you want butter now. And Kurt, the one guitar player, he like 2 or 3 edibles, he comes up to me, he goes, am I bugging right now? Or is like this guy freaking out? And I go, I don't know what's going on. And then a second later, a guy walks out the theater because we're late to get in there because the butter, you know, Buttergate's going on. And he goes, can someone shut the lights off for the film? And I go, this is about to be the craziest experience of my life. It was insane. It was, I mean, it ended up being fine, but it was just like, it was like a fever dream. You're looking around, and you're like, what's going on? But no, I love that kind of stuff.
All right. So tell me about, so, I mean, I've never seen Fat Mezz live. I've been told by many people, Andrew Moore, I don't know if you know him.
He's awesome.
He was in here maybe a month or so ago.
Yes.
And he was like, you got to go see Fat Mezz. Like, it's going to change your life. So
it'll deafen you, too. We're hitting about 115 decibels some nights. Some guy said, you know, he's like, you know, you might be putting the audience deaf. I go, it might sound better. You know, it's a little bit. You know.
Well, I like loud music. I mean, my first concert was AC/DC.
One of the loudest. Them and the Who. So loud.
Yeah. I mean, my ears rang for like 3 days afterwards.
My ears, this ear rings so bad.
Oh, you got the tinnitus?
Yeah, just in the right ear because I got a cymbal right next to me, a crash cymbal, which Corey, you know, he's a crash. He's a Keith Moon guy. Okay. And we got Kurt who can, you know, do the Pete Townsend stuff. He's Jimmy Page. So I got Marshall, got that. So, you know, just because of them, right side. When I'm trying to go to bed, it's great. You know, it's a reminder of them all the time.
Sure. So tell me how you guys got together. When did Fat Mezz first form?
So it was, you know, we've known each other for a good amount of time. So when I started playing the bass, how I met Bill was it's kind of strange way. I was at a car show with my mom, and she had a Volkswagen bus. I think she still does. And I'm playing an unplugged bass, and I could barely play. Like, this is 6 or 7 months in.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it might have been more than that, because I was saying I was playing for 6 or 7 months for a while, because I was nervous. I was just like, yeah, 6 or 7.
Right.
So this guy came up to me. It was Bill's crazy Uncle Johnny. Not real uncle, fake uncle, but he's uncle.
Yeah.
It's one of those people
Friend
where
of
it's
the
like,
family.
yeah,
Yep.
you're the uncle. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he comes out, he goes, you got to meet this kid, Billy the Kid. He's a great guitar player. Like, you should play with him. And I'm like, I'll just meet somebody. I want to play music.
Mm-hmm.
So he gives me a number. It doesn't work. My dad somehow tracked Bill's dad down on Facebook to a point where it's like, I think we basically just showed up at the house. We're like, your son plays guitar, my son plays bass. Play with Bill for a little bit. And we just, like, me and him jammed. I got some videos on my YouTube from it. Just us doing, like, Johnny Be Good.
Yeah.
I have the first recording of me and Bill ever playing together.
Oh, nice.
And it's us playing Johnny Be Good. And by that point, he could play. I mean, he's been playing since he was 8 or 9, even younger than that, I think. And I just started, so I'm all out of tune. But it's great to look at. And then we met Corey, the drummer, through Craigslist. We need a drummer. Okay. And Bill found him. His mother's like, a drummer looking for some work. He's 13 years old and he loves the Who and the Beatles. And, so then we met up with him, and it kind of, we did a little couple things. We opened up. We did like we opened up for a comedy show at the Lavoy. Artie Lang was playing there. My dad.
Oh, nice.
My dad worked with him for years.
So he knew Artie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were on the road for like.
Oh, really?
He was on the Howard Stern show with Artie for years.
Oh, that's cool.
So we opened for him, and we did like 3 songs, and Bill smashed the guitar because Artie loves the Who. Oh, but right. They had us open before the doors opened, so we probably played to about 2 people.
Oh.
And Artie's like on the side of the stage, he's like, yeah, and not making any sense. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
And we did maybe 2 other shows, and it kind of fizzled out because Bill was playing Billy the Kid band. I was in school doing my thing. Corey was doing his own thing. So it fizzled out, and there was some, a little bit of drama, so we stopped talking. Sure. Family stuff, how it is.
Yeah.
And we just slowly got back together, and I met Kurt through Blue Eagle, his drummer down in Cape May.
Okay.
I recorded a song down there when I started playing. So got Kurt, and then once me and Kurt were close, me and Bill started talking. We got together. We had our friend Dell play drums, but he had some other prior commitments, so we ended up getting Corey back. And that was around 2017. We were in a band called Gypsy Sunrise for a little bit, and it didn't gig as much. Right. Did like Alloway Village in. Right. And then we kind of just all spread out to our own groups. Kurt ended up moving to Nashville. Corey would just play in some groups with me. I was playing like 8 or 9 groups. So then when they needed a drummer, I would say, oh, call Corey, get him some work. I would play guitar in groups. I would play bass, play a little bit of keys. Yep. And it was, it just slowly formed together. And then COVID hit. Kurt lost his job down in Nashville. Okay. So he had to move back up.
What was he doing in Nashville?
He was doing, where like they do the crates for the touring bands. And so he was doing that. And then slowly they started firing people, but they were like, you guys will be fine. Yeah. And, they weren't fine because it ended up going longer. So he moved back. Bill's band, couldn't play. All my groups were done because of COVID. Yeah. Corey, he was in the groups with me, so his groups were done. So we just started playing together early 2020, and we all kind of lived in the basement where we live now at Kurt's parents' house. And then they ended up moving. We got the place.
Oh, cool.
So that's kind of... So
you guys all live together?
Yeah. I mean, we all go to our separate places, like our parents' houses, or I go to Hannah's. Yep. But we, that's our home base. That's our workstation. That's where we
awesome.
do all our stuff. Yeah. And around June or July, we started playing. We played the Anglesey Pub. Me and Kurt were walking around Wildwood. And we just were looking for gigs, and we walk in. He had to like go use the bathroom in Anglesey Pub. Walked in there, walked out. Sean was there. He shook his hand. He goes, "You look like the guy I got to talk to." And he thought he was looking for a job to be like a fry cook. And he's like, "We play in a band." This was on like a Thursday night, and he said, "Can you show up on like Sunday?" So we got Corey. He didn't have his drum set for some reason, so he played bongos. Okay. Bill played acoustic guitar. I played the electric bass. Kurt played electric guitar, and we just put together. We just were like, "All right, let's just play everything we knew." We kind of barely got through it.
Cover songs, I guess.
Covers back then. We didn't have. We had some originals, but it wasn't practice. It was kind of like, let's just play what we know right now. Yep. And then that's how it started. And we just played every Wednesday there, and it just. We were lucky because the Anglesey Pub was right off that main road.
Yeah, I know where that is.
And we're loud as hell. So, you can't miss it. And people were just coming every week, and, they would be like, "Oh, I could tell you guys are playing. I could hear the bass 3 blocks down, so I walked down." And that just grew, and we got into more venues in Wildwood, and that's like our home base.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Loose Ends plays down in Wildwood a lot,
They do.
too. Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. So where does the name Fat Mezz come from?
So there's a jazz clarinetist named Mezz Mesro. And he was in the 30s and 40s, and besides being a jazz clarinetist, he was the biggest weed dealer.
Oh, really?
They called weed mezz, and we all smoke or take edibles. Sure. So we were sitting in the backyard because the thing is, we got our first gig now. We don't got a name. And we didn't have Gypsy Sunrise because, we didn't want to use the word gypsy and all. Right, it's just like we didn't realize the implications of it all. Yeah. So we said we should probably make a new name. We got banned off Facebook and we go, oh my God, we didn't even think about this. We're young. We were 17, 18. Yep. So, by this point now, I'm about 20, I think 21. And we're sitting in the backyard. We have Mezz. And it's me, Kurt, and Bill, and we're sitting there going like Hot Mezz, and Bill says like Fat Mezz. Like we just sat there, we're smoking, and we said that's it, and we call Corey, we're like Corey, we got a band name, it's Fat Mezz. He goes, that's great, I like it. Nice. And I didn't realize till years later it kind of just sounds like Fat Mess. And now the thing is like when people say, is it Fat Mess? I go, it only sounds like that. But it's Fat Mezz, and it's a cool little name. It is.
Yeah. It's memorable too. Like there's not too many bands that have a name even remotely similar at all. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's cool. I like it.
Where the bands are named after one guy, which we didn't want to do.
Right.
Because Bill was in a band, Billy the Kid Band. He wanted to do get away from that and just be like, let's be a band.
Yep.
And that's how I've always, that's how the Beatles are. When you look at the Beatles, it's 4 individuals playing music together. Yeah. And I've always thought that was great.
And they all take turns with everything, singing and all that stuff.
We do the same
writing
stuff.
And yeah, do you?
Yeah. And even in the writing, we all contribute. Me and Kurt do a majority of the writing.
Yep.
But we're at home the most, so we'll just work together. Sure. I'll have a bit of music, and then he'll have some words, and we'll put it together, or we'll jam together as a band. There's a couple that we've done all collaborative. Yeah. But it's like it's a group, and that's what I love about it. I've always wanted to be in a group.
Yeah, that's great. How did you, when you were recording your own music, how did you? Were all those songs kind of imagined prior to you joining Fat Mezz or creating Fat Mezz?
Some of them.
Or how did you decide what were going to be your own and what were going to be band songs?
There's some where we've played with the band. Like there's a song called Wish You Well that we played in Fat Mezz. And there got to a point where it's like, maybe this would be better for something else. Even before I had the solo record idea, I go, maybe this isn't the sound of the group. It's a rock and roll stuff we do in Fat Mezz. And we do some kind of more artsy stuff at times. Right. But I view it as a rock and roll thing. And I just, it came around. We were just like, we wrote some other better songs that worked for the band, and I said, hey, I'm going to take this for my stuff. And it's a real balanced thing where it's like certain songs are so orchestrated, it's not that, and I'm very particular at times what I want. So it's like, basically, if I can play it all, I'd rather just do that.
Okay.
And it's a good separation. Like everything that was put on my stuff, it could be played by the band, but it's like, it's different. It's a whole different realm. It would sound completely different.
Gotcha.
And I like that kind of thing because I write a lot of music. And right now I have about 35, 40 songs in the catalog. So I got about 3 or 4 albums ready to do solo, but I also have some stuff I can do with the band. Yeah. It's I've never been one thing.
Right.
I've like I said, I played in a bunch of groups. So it's like I like to not spread myself thin, but I have a lot of thoughts and ideas, and I don't want to just like let them go to nothing.
Sure. No, I think that makes sense.
Good or bad.
I just the episode I just released today is this guy Randy Coors, my first Grammy winner that I interviewed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he owns a studio down in Nashville, Slack Key Studios. And he recorded, engineered, and played on the best bluegrass album of 2008. Nice. The artist was Jim Lauderdale. Anyway,
is he related to Fort?
It's like his stepson or something. But anyway, no, the thing I noticed about him, he started playing guitar when he was like 7. And by the time he was 10, he was like on tour,
When you start that young, you can really, I regret starting music as late as I did.
Yeah.
Even singing, I started really singing like in the way I do now when I was like 17 or 18.
Yep.
So it's like, I wish I had those years because I'm still learning in front of people.
Sure. Yep.
But it's like, people who start that young, I'm just like in awe of. It's
like,
I wish I got a little bit away from the tornadoes a little earlier.
Right. Yeah. But the thing with him is he never stopped, I know a lot of folks that I interviewing and myself, we all have like these 20-year hiatuses where life gets in the way and you just stop playing for whatever reason. Yeah. But this guy, not only did he just keep going from a young age, but he also learned like 13 different instruments. And like he was in like a whole bunch of different bands. Like he'd be in 4 or 5 bands all at the same time. You
learn a lot from that. You learn how to play to a lot of different people and a lot of different crowds. And I don't discredit any of the stuff I used to do. I love that I was able to do that kind of stuff because I learned so much about playing live in all kinds of circumstances. Playing strange hippie festivals where everyone's just out of their mind and included to like stuff where you're playing a corporate casino gig. And you blend that together and you just learn just like, okay, you roll with what's going on. Okay, this kind of crowd, I know exactly.
Right, it kind of prepares you for anything.
I dealt with this 3 years ago. All right, let's bring it back.
That's awesome. So tell me about the Fat Mezz like gigs. I know you guys said, I know you said you guys are very loud.
Yeah.
But what can I expect if I come to a Fat Mezz show?
for most of the shows, they're cover shows. We do our original music. We do probably two a set, one or two a set.
Yep.
But it's covers. It's stuff we enjoy playing. I mean, stuff from the Who, the Grateful Dead, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix. Just all the classic rock stuff.
Yep.
And it's down in Wildwood, mostly for the summer. We do Philly stuff in the fall. And it's just, it's loose, it's jamming. There's certain times where it's like, dance crowd, you start pulling out American Girl. And or you play like the Princeton, you only got to play hits because they get those rich young kids that if they don't know a song, they start booing, they start.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. So all you gotta do is get as drunk as them, and then
there you
start to relate a little bit. Be like, I might not have as much money as you, but I'm as fucked up as you are.
Yeah, right. I mean, the Princeton and Avalon and Bird and Betty's. I mean, those two places. I've never actually been inside them, but I used to Uber years ago, and I used to pick up and drop people off at the Princeton, and down in Avalon, and then Bird and Betty's in Long Beach Island, and those two places were just absurdly crazy. Like,
it is
the drunkest of the drunk, and they're all young and they're all partying, and
they're getting
everybody's good looking.
And you're just sitting there, and there's some people that are so drunk, and you go, I don't even know how you're getting home if you're not even driving. Like, how are you walking right now?
Right, exactly.
It's insane. And it's kind of funny because they have in the Prince, they call it the Rock Room. They try to make it like a dive bar.
Okay.
Which I just think is the funniest thing.
There is no such thing as a dive bar in Avalon.
It's funny when a place that has money tries to make it look like it doesn't have money.
Yeah.
Because it's like you go to get a shot and it's like, all right, $12. And I'm like, it's not a dive bar. Can I get a Miller Lite? $9. What? That's insane.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So tell me about the original music that Fat Mezz has. Like, do you have albums out? I guess, right?
So we right now we're doing singles.
Okay.
Just because how the algorithm works and how you have to keep it relevant. Like, we put a single out every month. We put one out on the first.
Okay.
So when we went down to Memphis, we recorded 13 songs. 11 were originals. And we did 2 covers. We did a Christmas song that Corey sang, "Please Come Home for Christmas," which was awesome.
Yep.
And we did Red House because that's a staple cover we do, and it's like and Bill and Kurt really shine on the blues, and that's kind of what we all kind of started on. So it's like we wanted to get that on tape because I don't really like recording covers, but if it really makes sense and it's original, I'll do it.
Did you guys make it kind of your own, or is it?
It's evolved over the years. I mean, a lot of our best covers are songs that we played a certain way, and then every night it slowly changes. So when you're 4 years down the road, it's like, it's like, how'd you come up with that? I'm like, well, that's from 2 years ago. That part's from here. We did this stop this one night, and we said next night, let's do it. And then we did this. Then we never did that again. It evolves. So it's like it has our own signature on it. It sounds like us playing.
Yeah, that's very cool. So what are so you said the writing is all collaborative.
Yes,
right.
For the most part, there's some individual songs.
Sure.
I bring some in. Kurt brings some in.
Okay, and you've been releasing a song every month.
Yes.
Have you always done that? Like, how many songs do you guys have out?
So this is pretty new. We started releasing music in 2023 with Fat Mezz Loves Cudrak.
Okay.
That's our dog. Cudrak. He's a basset hound. He's awesome.
Nice.
We put him on the cover, and it's a nice little pun. But we put out 2 songs, Pretty Blonde News, How Would You Know? That was our first thing. And then we went to... what was it? I think it was Minor Street recording to do Sleeping with the Fish. I think Dr. Dog recorded there, so that was cool. But we were still trying to find our studio that we wanted.
Sure.
So we did the first one at the Audio Lab, and for Fat Mezz, we were like, we didn't know if we dug the sound too much for that kind of stuff. And so then we went to Minor Street. We didn't really dig that at all, or that kind of vibe.
Yep.
And we went down to Memphis just to hang out. Well, we started in Nashville because Kurt used playing a band down there, like I was saying.
Yep.
When he was doing the road crew stuff. So we stayed there, and then Ethan, the guy who works at Memphis Magnetic, invited us to come check out the studio.
Oh, cool.
So 2 years before we went in there, we visited it and we went, this is great. So once we had the collection of songs, we went down there, recorded 3 songs. We did Perfect, Some Kind of Way, and what is the other one? It's the one I sang. A song called Oh My, which didn't come out yet. But we put those 2 out as singles, and then we got about 11 songs. That were the 13 in all. Yep. And we went 3 weeks down there and just cut them all.
Oh, okay.
And now it's really, the train's starting to go now, where it's like, we want to get this out, and then all those singles will compile into an album, Mezz in Memphis, once it's out.
Okay, cool.
We're kind of doing the teardrop or whatever method that John Mayer does, where it's like you put out a single, but each single has the last singles before it.
So
it builds into
I see. Yeah.
So it keeps the new one relevant, but also keeps the old ones, where it's like, also if someone forgets to hit a button, you get a free play out of it. So it's pretty cool.
There you go.
But our goal is to put that out as a record once it's all out, and then go down to Memphis maybe in January, February, and cut a new record of another 10 songs.
Okay.
So we're in the process of writing.
Wow.
We have 2 done right now, 2 or 3 done right now, and we're a very last minute band. Like, we kind of do things last minute. So it's like in the last 2 months before we go, we'll probably write the rest of the songs.
Yeah, a bunch of cramming sessions or whatever.
Because that's what'll happen. We'll just sit there and we'll just start coming up. We did that with like Just Call My Name. That's one of our singles we did. It's a real heavy rocking song.
Nice.
And we kind of just were sitting in the studio and we started coming up with stuff and we started, doing some riffs that we knew, kind of jokes that we've had.
Okay.
And slowly it turns into a real song and we go, that thing that we call Don't Stop the Rain is now the riff to Just Call My Name. Like this is just, and it's cool like that. Those are the real collaborative songs.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. How would you describe Fat Mezz's original music?
It's rock and roll. It's but it's not rock and roll in a way of it's we try to emulate the 60s and 70s stuff, but we're not trying to be like and it's not a negative thing, but not trying to be like a Greta Van Fleet thing or we want to have like our own sound to it, but still have the influence. Like there's some stuff where you can hear a Beatles influence or a Zeppelin drum sound or this, but it's we're not really trying to fill a sound. We're just trying to do what we want to do, or like we'll go in the studio and be like, let's try to make this track sound like it's from like 1978, but then do the vocals, make it sound like a modern day song.
Right.
There's no box we try to put it in.
That's cool.
Some songs, that comes around where it's like this has to sound like a shitty 60s recording, and then we'll do that, and we'll be like, all right, make it sound terrible. We made it sound terrible.
Okay, nice.
But it's rock and roll for the most part with some artsy music.
Very cool. Yeah,
and I like that kind of blend. Good,
all right,
good live music.
Yeah. For those that don't really know who you guys are, give me a rundown of the band members and what they do.
So there's on the drums Corey Chodes. He sings lead and harmony. And he helps write, and he's got one of the best ears I've ever. I mean, he can hear harmony like nobody else. I mean, we're all good harmony singers, but he's someone where it's like you don't even got to think about it, and he'll be like, and it just sounds great.
That's cool.
And it's like that's really rare. And for someone who doesn't play anything besides drums, he's a very musical person, and he's very into just discovering music. He'll go from listening to 60s rock to going to like blast beat metal to going to this, and he just likes to absorb stuff. And he knows so many facts. He's somebody, if you had him on here, he'd talk for 6 hours straight because he's just got so much. He's an encyclopedia of knowledge. He's like a Snapple bottle with like the biggest cap ever. But he's awesome, and he helped me write some songs from the record that I put out, and helps out with the band. His dad's a musician. His stage name is King Sauce. He was a part of the Elephant Six collective of like indie music from the 90s with Chris Parfit and stuff like of Montreal, like in that kind of indie thing, which I've always loved. 90s. That's great. 90s indie.
Yeah, man.
There's Kurt. He kind of does a lot of the business stuff. He plays guitar. He sings lead. Sings harmony. He's the Peter Grant of the group. He's the business guy. He works with Anthony a lot, and he works with the venues. And if a check bounces, he's right on there. He'll go every day. He's crazy, and it's great to have somebody like that.
Sure.
Because for me, I don't with money. I can't. With music, I just love playing music.
Right.
And I played for years for nothing. For like, I'll do a gig for a little dime bag of weed and think this is a great night. I'm having the best night of my life. So I need someone like that because I would be probably homeless. But he's a great guitar player. Plays very by feel. He doesn't really, the notes on the neck, he doesn't really know. He doesn't know any theory. He just plays.
Okay.
And that's great because, it's funny. I'll be like, can you play a B minor 7 flat 5? And he goes, what? I go, Stormy Monday chord. And he goes, okay, I know that. But he's got a very good rock and roll voice.
Okay.
I really, there's not many people who sing genuine rock and roll with a kind of what's the word? Conviction? Yeah. Conviction.
Yeah.
And I love the way he does it. And he has very good lyrics.
Okay.
Then there's Bill. Bill's been playing for years. I mean, one of those phenomenal guitar players, or I think in this area, or maybe East Coast. I don't know.
Okay.
He's my friend, so I'm a bit biased.
Sure.
I feel that about the whole band. But it's he just has a very unique way of playing, and he's a great blues player. That's where he starts from, and he's into jazz now. So he's got this nice blend. He's got very unique sounds. He can recreate stuff really well, like the Highway Stars organ solo he can do on the guitar.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's amazing. And like stuff like Won't Get Fooled Again or Who Are You? There's a synthesizer going wump, 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 wump. He puts the auto wah on. He does it. And he goes, pum, 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 pum. And you just look at him while he's moving, and you're just going, he's burning 1,000 calories per song. It's crazy. And he's got a phenomenal voice. He's been singing for years. He's got a very soulful, baritone voice. And it's great. He's got, you listen to him, like when you hear him do Tin Pan Alley by Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
You feel like Stevie's there with
Really?
Stevie's one of his biggest influences. Stevie's the reason he plays guitar.
Okay.
His dad showed him Pride and Joy, the acoustic 12-string one.
Yep.
And that's maybe when he was about 8 or 9, and he started playing music after that.
That's awesome.
And he's been gigging in bars since then,
Okay.
and he's the whole band. I'm very lucky to be in a group with such talented people.
Yeah, that's great.
There's not a weak leg to it, Maybe me if I'm a bit too stoned, but that happened. That's a bass player thing I've heard.
Sure. So you 4 members?
4 members.
Okay.
For the original shows, we just added another member, our buddy Joshua Vinzaparella. He's somebody who's very underrated in this area.
What's he do and why did you add him?
So he's 21 years old. He's younger than all of us. I'm 26. I'm the oldest, and the youngest one besides me is Corey, 22.
Yep.
He started coming out to shows, and he's a left-handed guitar player, and we quickly realized this kid can play almost anything. He plays bass. I mean, there's not many good bass players that I've seen around, but he sits there, and there's even songs where he plays bass on in our original show just because I go, I'll play piano, do that, man.
Yeah.
But he does that. He plays drums. He's a great singer. He's a real tenor singer, which is rare.
Yep.
I tried to do a tenor.
What's a tenor? I've heard of it before. I just don't know what it is.
Just the high voice. You can hit like a C5 and a nice belt, and he doesn't realize how good he is, and he's one of the best songwriters in the area. He just put out a single out the other day. He's got a great song called Mid-Tier Friend out.
What is it? Mid-tier?
Mid-Tier Friend.
Okay.
Joshua Vinzaparella, you can check that out on everything. But we added him, so he's going to fill out the sound on third guitar, a little bit of bass, a little bit of piano. He's learning piano to play with us and sing the harmonies because I sing a lot of the harmonies, the higher stuff.
Okay.
But if I'm singing lead all night, it's really taxing.
Sure.
And our shows really tax me. Like I'm on vocal rest right now from singing just because I have nothing. There's nothing coming out at times. But he can really fill that gap in, and it's it's 5 people with that and 4 with the cover band.
Okay.
We try to differentiate. I can't pronounce that word.
Differentiate.
I can't pronounce anything, man. I was in speech therapy as a kid. Didn't do anything. When I was talking to somebody earlier, I used to say Massachusetts as massive 2 shits. And they would go, you can't say it. I was in Catholic school. You can't. I go, that's all I can say. Just give me a different. Let me say Vermont. Come on. Right. But we try to keep the original show different from the cover band show because it is 2 different things. And there is fans that come out and go, I want to see Fat Mezz do LA Woman. But there's also people that go, I enjoy that, but I want to hear what they got to do.
Right.
So it's like I don't want to disappoint one person over the other. So it's like there has to be 2 different ones.
Yeah.
And there's crossover, but not always.
What would you say is the difference? I mean, not difference. Percentage wise, like how many original shows are you doing? How many covers? Is it mostly cover gigs?
It's mostly cover gigs.
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing right now 3 to 4 times a week. Cover gigs, with the original sprinkled in. This week will be a bit more because we're doing Springfest in Ocean City, Maryland. It's an hour and a half set, so we're going to do half and half. We're doing a house show on Friday, so it's at Rutgers, so we're doing all originals.
Nice.
And then we're playing Bayfest in Summers Point, and that's a more of a cover thing. So we'll do a lot of originals, a lot of people there.
Sure.
If it's a bigger stage, we'll do more originals.
Okay.
But we have a lot coming up. Mostly it was like 1 or 2 a year, like last year. But we got more. We got another Ardmore Music Hall date. We're playing the 118 North. We're doing the Milk Boy.
Yep.
We're just trying to get around and really establish our name with that. Do it, double, triple, quadruple bills.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's, doing original music is a lot harder than doing covers.
Absolutely.
And especially that we're so cemented as a cover band. And that's really our staple.
Yep.
It's kind of, at times, hard to get out of that because, there's people that came out to the Ardmore and saw us, and we did maybe 3 covers all night out of the 18 songs. And there's people who were kind of just like, they're kind of rude, but they were like, I wouldn't have paid for a ticket if I knew that. And, the thing is, I wrote it on the thing.
Yeah.
So then I sent them a link to Duolingo. I said, well, since you can't read, I said, this might help you out a little bit. And I don't think they'll be listening to us again.
Probably not.
But, we're still trying to establish ourselves. I personally don't think we're at that point yet, but we're working towards it.
Okay.
And we have the Emma Barbecue coming up, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys are the local shots.
Yeah.
You open the main stage.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I think we're doing a side stage thing in between headliners. So
you are.
So it's like a 30-minute set at 12:30 in the afternoon, which that'll be fun. We have a gig the night before, but we'll wake up.
Yeah.
And then we're doing that 45-minute set. That's all originals.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't like really doing the covers in the original shows because when we did that the last Ardmore, every video I saw was like the covers.
The covers.
And I was like, people dug it, the whole thing, but it's like, I want it to be separate.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you're trying to get your like you said, you're trying to establish yourself.
Yeah.
In that world of original music, and the last thing you need is a bunch of videos like, oh, saw Fat Mezz at Ardmore, and here's them doing this
won't
cover.
Get fooled again, and I'm just like. And I get it, and I don't take it personally at this point because it's how it works. That's how it is, and it takes time because and even starting, I mean, I know many original groups that only do originals, and that's all they've ever done.
Yep.
And it's so hard to take off, and it's like, but I love that kind of stuff because it's like you really stay true to the art of it.
Yeah.
Which I love, and it makes me feel a bit less of an artist at times when I'm, that's why I've done so much stuff like my own record, the Fat Mezz stuff, and really push that.
That's great.
And do it at the shows because it's like I want to be able to prove that we can do both of these things. We can entertain, but also we can do art and we can write stuff that's catchy and get inspired, not just write, some corny stuff. Once in a while I'll write some corny stuff.
You have to.
I do the corny love songs.
There you go.
That's the McCartney gift I was given.
I had Jersey Calling in here a little while ago, and they were the local shots. They played the MMRBQ. I think it was last year.
That's awesome.
And they do pretty much all original stuff. And yeah, their shows are a little bit more fewer and far between. And I noticed that they travel a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, they go
we
outside.
Want to travel a bit more. Yeah. We're very stuck in the bubble at the moment. And it's great, you know. Yeah. And we're playing to people that know us, but you know, we don't want to go anywhere. We always want to keep this home base, but we want to spread out a little bit.
Yep.
And that's hard. You know, we're trying to book like a DIY tour. Kurt's working on it. So if we go down to Memphis, or maybe on the way back, we do 10 dates going down. Just play anywhere. Because like my whole theory is if what we did worked up here, or you know, it could work anywhere. You know what I mean? Because we played to so many different kinds of people, especially playing down the shore. It's a hodgepodge of everybody. Sure. And especially in Philly. So it's, you know, I want to get us on the road and, you know, be able to, you know, in the off season do that. And in the summer, just drill the shore. Yeah, well, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, what I've learned, I mean, I kind of knew this already before starting the podcast, but I've interviewed so many people, and this area, the South Jersey area, is really it's very cover band heavy, right? Like the fan base, that's all they want to hear are covers. There's I don't want to say there's very little, but
there isn't much.
Yeah, there's not much of an original music scene, and I know plenty of musicians who are trying to make it happen, and I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
I did, however, you may know this already, but I haven't published it yet. It'll be the next episode I release. The Gabby Cinque band.
They're great.
Yeah, and they're from like the Asbury Park area.
We're trying to get up there. We hung out with them. We played the Wonder Bar. We played for this Light Festival, City of Light Festival.
Yeah, something like that.
And they came out, and we know them just from, you know, talking. The band came out. They're awesome. They got great songs, great stage presence. They're all great like musicians.
Yeah. Gabby was here, and then she brought I think was his name Matt, the guitar player.
Matt, yeah.
Yeah, he was amazing. They did a little acoustic set, just the two of them, and it was fantastic. Yes. But the reason why I bring them up is because they said that whole area up there around Asbury Park is mostly original.
I know. That's what I love about it.
Like you go to bars and play covers, people are like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, and I want to hear what you're doing.
Right. And I was amazed. I was like, "Really? Like places like that exist?" And she was like, "Yeah."
When we went up there for that festival thing we were the first band on that as well. So it's kind of similar to MMRQ. We have to start at like 12:30 p.m. after a gig. And we were burnt out, but we got to it because there's people there.
Sure.
And, you know, we've never been in front of these people, so we want to impress and we want to do good. So we got up there, did maybe 70% original music, and they asked us to play a couple more songs. So then we just did some Grateful Dead stuff because I love Grateful Dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was just so amazing to see a community like that because you don't really see much of that down here of like, the tight community. There's groups,
right?
But it's not really together. And you would just see everybody. This guy would talk to this person, and she would, and it was great. And you know, I mean, you know, I wish they would call us back for a gig, but we're trying to get back up there because that's our goal. You know, I would love to be on the same thing. You know, we're trying to book some stuff with Billy Walton Band and Gab Cinque Band because that'd be cool. Just do like a triple headline bill somewhere, Wonder Bar, or, Stone Pony if we can get in there, Asbury Lanes. It's amazing up there. It's when I saw that it basically brought a tear to my eye that there's actual people playing music with an audience that really wants to hear stuff who just is open-minded and it's loving. You know, because there's some hatefulness, you know,
sure,
I mean? Especially from some, you know, if someone's real drunk and they don't like what you're doing, they'll tell you. You know, I forgot a verse in Can't Always Get What You Want the other week, and I got 3 people coming up to me being like, "What's that about?"
Oh, really?
I'm just like, I haven't done it in 6 months. Come on, you know. Some guy's holding his phone up for the lyrics. I can't see that. I'm going blind. Can't see anything.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I laugh at it. I think it's like, who's writing these episodes? We always say that to each other.
Yeah, right.
But something weird. It's like, who's writing this? What's going on? I love it. I wouldn't want any other life.
It's fun. I mean, even though you have to deal with some nonsense every now and then, it's all fun. Right?
I mean, it's what I want to do, you know. And it's never to a point, you know. There's some days where I sit in bed and I really, you know, every musician has it where it's like, it was last night. I didn't sleep at all. I'm sitting there going, oh, I'm a loser. I don't have anything done in my life. Oh my, is this it? You know, and then you wake up and I guess the smell the roses. Is that the
yeah.
And you just go, all right, life's beautiful. I'm just being a little shithead right now. But you know, there's times of that. But when it comes down to it, and you talk to people that come out and they go, I really love what you guys do, and like I work all week and I have, you know, some troubles in my life, and I come out and I forget about it.
Yeah.
I realize that's why I love the Beatles. And I would never want to take that away from somebody else if I'm in a bad mood on stage.
Sure.
There's been times when I was, you know, when we started where I would in a bad mood and I go, get it. They don't understand. And I got to a point where it's not about that. It's about entertaining and do that. And that's the difference between the cover and the original.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be an entertainer. And once I started going down and seeing bands, I love to see groups. I love watching bands. And when I saw like Mike LeComte play, I don't think there's anyone more entertaining than him. I mean, he's jumping off the stage. He's going in people's faces. And that's what it made me realize. I go, this is it. This is what it's about. It's about sitting here, having a beer, enjoying yourself, and just having a good time.
Right.
And it just, that really helped mold my whole perception of it.
Awesome.
And especially being a McCartney fan, it's like he's the ultimate performer.
He's great.
He goes on stage 3 hours straight, doesn't even take a break, sips water twice, and sings higher than me at 80 than I can do even on my best day. So it's like the least I can do is be entertaining.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I love it.
He seems, I mean, I don't know a ton about Paul McCartney, but I've seen plenty of interviews and all that stuff, and he did that carpool karaoke with James Corden.
Yeah.
And they end up in that pub, and they surprise a whole bunch of people. They had the
jukebox.
The jukebox, yeah.
I want to hear Day Tripper, and boom, 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 boom.
All of a sudden, the curtains open. It's friggin' Paul McCartney.
If I would have done that, I would have been like, who puts something in my drink? Because I see Paul McCartney on stage right now. This is crazy.
It's nuts. But like stuff like that, just the fact that he was willing to do that, it was like stuff like that's amazing.
He did something at I think it's called the Bowlery or something in New York City. He played right before he did the SNL thing where he did Golden Slumbers. He did 3 nights in a row, just playing to a 200-person room.
Oh, really?
And he's just up there, Paul McCartney, on stage at like a very small, and they put your phones in bags, which I like that.
I like that too.
There's nothing worse, and this is my one small complaint. There's nothing worse when you're playing a show and people are digging it, and you see 2 people right up front on my phone, but just like texting, I go, how are you not just awkward? Like, how are you not sitting there going like, this might be a little weird, So I've always dug that. Some artists get a little too crazy about it.
Sure.
But I wish there was more video from the show. But there's But that's what's great about McCartney is he's still humble to that way where he'll still play to the people because that's what it's about. It's about the people. That's my dad always taught me about. He's him being a comedian. He goes, it's about the people. Give the people what they want. You gotta rock. He loves heavy music. So he'll come out. We'll be doing the first set, a little light Ventura Highway. He'll get off and go, just gotta rock it. Just gotta give it to the people. Just go. me and him wrote a tune together years ago. It's called Tonight, and it's the most rock and roll.
Nice.
It's like satire almost, like how much, like back in USSR, where it's like, one way ticket to a real good time, gonna lose. It's a bit corny, but it's so into that satire where it's like people drunk enough will go be like, and it's called Tonight. It's like,
sure.
And it's just, it's funny.
All of AC/DC's lyrics, and I love AC/DC, but all of their lyrics are just like, we're going to have a party tonight, and the girls
drinking, women, partying, and a guitar solo, and he's wearing an Irish skirt. And you go there, you go, this is great. This is amazing. I don't want to leave.
Yeah, that's great. Well, before we get to the performance, like, is there anything else that you wanted to cover? Anything from Fat Mezz or your solo stuff that you just want the people to know about?
Just, for Fat Mezz, we're putting out a single once a month, and we got a bunch of singles still up. We have one coming out called 3 Years in a Day, which is a good, like, it's ZZ Toppy. It's got good slide guitar. It's a good swing, doom, doom, ba-doom, boom, which we love, doing that.
Yep.
So we got one of those come out a month, and we'll go down to Memphis, record some more. We got, the MMRBQ coming up. We got...
What's the date of that again?
May 10th.
May 10th.
We're opening, I think we start 12:30. We recorded the ad for it today. They gave us a little script to follow.
Nice.
And I can't read that well, so I keep looking at it while we're filming. I'm just like... I was trying to mess with... I had my zipper down, just trying to mess with... Because I want someone to be like, what's he doing? One of my favorite things is to sometimes make people uncomfortable. If I'm on stage, just say a strange thing, and you see someone snap their head. Because everyone's used to, like... We are blank, and it's great to be here, and how you feeling tonight? And I'll do that, but I like to just say some stuff like... Yeah, just, I ate this thing earlier. It made my stomach weird. And, like, you ever have that where your stomach's just weird, and then you see people
throws people off.
Yeah, because it's like, I like to just talk. But,
fun.
So you got the Fat Mezz material, a lot of original shows. I should have them on the top of my head, but I don't even know where we're playing.
Did you guys recently play Ortlieb's, or is that coming up?
What is it?
Ortlieb's in Philly? I thought you guys were playing in Philly somewhere.
I think we are. I mean, I know we're doing Milk Boy.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
It might be that. Yeah. I'm terrible. No, it's like week of sometimes where I'm just like, this is where it is, because I'm just mostly, if I'm not doing anything, I'm recording. So my mind's always like, I think too much. That's my problem. It's good because I have a bunch of ideas, but sometimes it's bad where you're sitting in bed and you go, shut off.
Just can't turn it off. Yeah.
That was me last night. I was rolling 6 hours straight, just rolling around in bed, going like... But got that. I'm starting my second record, so that I'm recording that at the Audio Lab.
Nice.
And it's just trucking along, just trying to do the thing.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. What songs are you gonna do for us today?
To play. Let me grab the guitar out.
Yeah, man.
Hannah was very nice of her to bring her guitar from work.
Oh, nice.
She
Very cool.
She plays guitar, piano, banjo, everything. She does it all.
Nice.
So she brought her guitar. She's a music therapist. She does wonders.
Oh, really?
She does amazing stuff.
Very cool.
She helps a lot of people out, and
that's awesome.
You know.
Very cool. So I'll have to, before we get to the performance, I'll swap out a microphone.
Yeah, you're good.
But what do you think? What are you going to play for us? Tell me a little bit the 2 songs that you're going to play.
So I'll probably do a song off my first record, a song called Wish You Well, one of the oldest songs I've written.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one, and it's easy to sing. It's not a screamer, so that's good. And the other one, I don't know. I'll think of it right before I do it.
All right, cool. All right, awesome. Well, yeah. Thank you very much for being on the podcast, man.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad we were able to get it on the calendar.
It's finally great to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too in person.
Check you out, you know.
Yeah, man. Whenever I'm sure you guys are busy and all that, but if there's ever
see videos though, I'm up to date with everybody.
That's awesome.
I kind of stalk everybody in the music scene because I want to make sure. I'm like, what's everybody doing? I want to make sure I'm still up to par.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I love your voice. Very good voice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So this song is off my first album. This is a song I wrote in 2019 with R.J. Hill. We produced it in his basement, and then once I got around to recording Lazy River, I recorded it with Tony Mascaro on drums, me and Billy Thoden on a bunch of guitars. And this is a nice little sad love song called Wish You Well. Your hazy eyes, what you are and never could be, it's all the same, means nothing to me, yeah. I wish you well. Your touch through the wave of your hand. Just say the word and I'm at your command, yeah. The sun is down and I'm walking home. The world is asleep, I'm all alone. Folks at home, play your guitar solo along, and it'll sound great. Don't you know that I wish you well? All these times I just sit and I wonder why I wish you well, oh yeah. My little tricks. All right. Thank you. Nice, this is a song that I wrote in, where did I write this song in? Home by Dark. I wrote this song, it was in Westville at Hannah's old apartment, and I hadn't wrote a song in a while. It was right when I got back from Memphis. and I saw the Bob Dylan movie, and I wrote it really fast. I haven't written a song this fast in a while, and it's never been played, and you've never heard it. And neither have I if I don't remember how it goes. But this is a song called Home by Dark, sung in a very raspy, highway star-ridden voice. And I might scroll, so I might miss a strum. Coldest time in the warmest places. Don't ask me why. There's no trading faces. About the same as it's ever been. When will you jump in? It's a race to get robbed. Saving face, check the box. No, 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 no. I better get home by dark. Save the sweets for later. Carry on, better count your paper. Please them all, it would be nice of you. Come on and tie my shoe. Dull the pain, break the ice. Don't be vain, choose a side. No, I better get home by dawn. Do, 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 You called me up just to ask the time. I felt stood up, it's 9:15. You hung up the phone as I said goodbye. Maybe I should have lied. Break my teeth, call me swine. You know me, I'll be fine. I said no, 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 no. I better get home by dawn. No, no, I better get home. I better get home by dawn. My trick again.
All right, nice.
Thank you.
Nice, very good. I love it.
That's a fun one.